app, and this is it down here in the bottom right hand corner. I'll use the lid of my pen to point things out for you as we go through. But if you download the app, and then once we've given you access, you'll have your login, your username, which is the email that you provide us, and also the password that we create for you. So the first thing you need to do is open up the app, and then you'll see the login page. If we click on login, you can see here it asks for your email and your password. So what I'm going to do for today is I'm actually going to cover up this here. I'm sure you'll still be able to see what I'm typing, but to try and protect ourselves here a little bit, we'll just cover that up, and we enter in the username, which is the email. Then we would click on the password. Remember, your password is case sensitive, so if you change it once I give it to you, you will need to make sure you remember that it's case sensitive. Click on login. Depending on how fast your internet is, it'll bring up a screen for you. So once you get to this screen, if you actually have a workout scheduled for today or for this day, then it'll show up here. As you can see there, it says no workouts. That's because there's no workouts scheduled on Wednesday the 20th for this particular person. So a lot of people get confused. They think, oh, I don't have a program, but you do. It's just that there's nothing scheduled for that particular day. So this is the main screen that you'll see. So in terms of where we find our program, down the bottom here, you'll see workout. If you're not on that page, you need to click on that page. That'll take you to your program. And again, this just means there's nothing on this particular day. So there's two ways we can get to the days with programs. So there is an arrow here. So you'll see the date, and then there's an arrow over here, and then there's an arrow on this side as well. So you can actually toggle from day to day. So if we click on to the right, it'll take us to Thursday the 21st, and here we go, we see a program for the day. Okay, so if we go back the other way to Tuesday, we can see there's a program there as well. And by the ticks on here, I can look at that and know that that person has actually completed their program. I'll also see that when I run a report. So if we go back to the day where there was no workout, so that's an easy way we can do it. Another way we can look at the whole calendar is up in the right hand corner here. You'll see this little calendar, and if we click on that, that takes us to the calendar. We can scroll up and down and look at the different days, but this shows us the days that we actually have workouts on. So the green ones are days that have actually been completed. So if I look at this, I just go, okay, yep, I can have a really quick look and see which days I know that everyone's completed everything. The red ones are days that haven't actually been completed or haven't been attempted as yet. Okay, now what we'll do for today is we'll go into the 21st. I've set up a session in here for this particular athlete, and then we'll run through it. So when we go into that page, this is what we see. Now at the top here, we can see there's a note, and then we've got some of these flame looking things here. These are all your warm-up exercises. And then the exercises that are listed down here, the A, well, this one has a C, D, and an E. These are the exercises that we would want that athlete to do. Now, if we decide that we want to superset something for them, what we'll actually do is we'll have two A's, and that would mean that they would be supersetting. Okay, so the reason for the note, if I click into that note, this particular athlete's had a few hamstring issues previously and some tendon pain. And so it's just a note here, just a bit of a trigger and reminder for them to make sure that they're cooling down properly and that they notify any changes in pain levels in their hamstring. Okay, really simple. Just click in the note. They don't even need to click in it, but they can click in it and we can click straight out of it. As we look through here, these are our warm-up exercises. So prior to actually attempting any lifting, these are the exercises that we want athletes to do. So we want them to foam roll, trigger ball, some isometrics. These are foam runs, and then we're getting them to do a bit of skipping. So if we click into one of these exercises, these warm-up exercises here, what we'll see is single leg runs on blue foam square or a pillow, 2 by 25 seconds. ES means each side. So they're single leg. Now if I was here and I was like, I'm not too sure what that is, what we have up in the top corner here is you'll see this little red circle with a camera on it. So that's actually a video that we have, and all exercises in your program should have a video attached to it. So if we click on that, here's me standing there. All we have to do is press play, and it'll show you how to actually perform that exercise. So as you can see, based on the description, standing on the blue foam. And you can watch that as many times as you like. Once you're finished, hit done, takes you back to your warm-up. Okay? Now what we can also do here, you'll see there's a little X down the bottom here. So we can either choose to close out of that, or now that we're in our program, we can actually just slide across to the next thing. So we've got skipping. SL would generally mean single leg, and we would explain these things to people and athletes before we get into these things, get into their programming. But alternating single leg for 2 minutes. So we keep moving on. Then we get to, I'll just pop out of here again. So once we get down to their first exercise, we get to the A, and we'll see that's a hang clean. So if we click inside that, what we now see is the weight, the reps. We still have the little video camera, so we can watch the exercise if we're not sure how to do it. But there's also a couple of other things that are around this one. So we'll just go through them one by one. So over here we can see the max. And that's the max that this person would do is at the moment is 65 kilos. This is a young athlete, so they're not going to be doing a lot of weight. There's a little eye next to that, and if we click on that, so there's no instructions provided for this one. But what happens is if the coach puts in any particular instructions for you to focus on, this is where you'll see them if you click on the eye. Okay, so we'll close that one for now. And over the other side over here, there's a little clock here. So that's your history button. So if you click on that button, what you'll see, this shows you your hang clean over time. And it shows what you've done. So for the last month or last 3 or 4 weeks, this athlete's been doing hang cleans, and they've started off really light and they're slowly building up. Yeah? So they've gone from there and they're now up to 50 odd kilos. Okay? So if you want to look back and see what you've been doing to get an idea of how fast you should be going up, if you're not working in the gym with one of our coaches, then that's an easy way to do it. So again, to get out of there, we just hit the X. Now when you're doing your hang cleans, ideally we want you to be putting this information as you go. So on your first set, if you happen to do 50 kilos for your warm-up, you just put 50 in and hit done. If your second set if you stayed on 50 for your first 3 sets, and then on your last set, you actually went up to 60 kilos, you just fill it in like that. And then you hit save. You've got to make sure you hit save. If you don't hit save, the information won't be kept in there. Okay, so we hit save, and you'll see there, it actually says that it's saved, and then when we go back out of here, if we hit the X, you can see the green tick. So that tells me that it's finished. You've done that exercise. Okay. Now, we would do that for all of these exercises as we roll down through here. If we go down to the freeform tuck, not sure whether, if we click on that information button on the freeform tuck, what we see there is that it's a 4-second count in and out. So what's that telling us is that as we extend, once we watch the video, we want to extend out, it takes 4 seconds, and as we come in, it's 4 seconds. So if we watch the video for this one, as you can see there, we're using the freeform, and we're looking at a 4-second count out and a 4-second count in. That's the instruction for that. So the coach might want you to go faster and they might want you to go slower, but that's where that information button comes in handy in terms of what your coach is actually asking you to do. Okay, so we close out of that. Now you can see here, this one doesn't have anywhere to put any weight. Because it's a body weight exercise, we just know that we've got 3 sets of 6 reps. So once we've done them, we just hit save. And then when we close it, we can see there that we've got that green tick. Okay. Now if we were to go up to your standing hip flexor with band, what we can see here, this one looks slightly different. Now, because there's no weight on this one, we don't put weight on it, I'll put the video on for you so you can see what the exercise looks like. So this is a standing hip flexor. There's no weight, it's just a band. Okay, so what we would do there, this is a completion exercise. So from this one, once you're finished, it's really important that you tick that. You've got to press that green tick. It's really important that you do that. Otherwise it comes up with an orange on that calendar to show me that you haven't completed the exercise. Now what you can do here, if you've changed the band or you've decided to add something a little bit heavier, you can go to the note here and you can go, today I used red band instead of yellow. And hit save. And then that message comes through. So we tick that, hit it saved. If you're going to do your note, try and do your note before you hit that button. And then when we go out of there, again, we can see that that one's ticked. Okay. Now if we were to go into our next exercise, this is a hip thrust with a barbell. Again, there's a video there to watch. But today we're not going to do hip thrust because you've got a little bit of a sore lower back. You would click down here. This is what we call the opt-out button. So when you clicked on this button, it gives you a reason to select your reason to why you're not going to do that particular exercise. And you would say your injury. So you would select injury. And then that comes up. Oh, should come up. You don't need to select a different exercise. It does give you an option of actually selecting an alternate exercise. And if you're in with the coach might say, okay, don't do hip thrust, do this other exercise today. But today we're just going to opt out, and then we hit save. So our reason was that we had an injury, and then it comes up, then we hit save. So then you can see here, the reason was injury, hip thrust with barbell, but we didn't actually do another exercise. So then when we close, it still says that we've ticked it, but we've actually given a reason why we didn't do it. Okay, so as you go through, it seems like a lot of information, but it becomes really quick while you're actually doing your exercises. The other things that we can add in for athletes, and quite often we will, is little questionnaires. And you'll see down the bottom here is a daily wellness questionnaire for this athlete. So if we click into that, all it does is ask some questions there. And we can actually gather some information over time. So how many hours did you sleep last night? Might be slept really well, so I had 8 hours. How's your mood? 1 is poor. Excellent, 5. I'm at the gym, so I'm loving it, so it's 5. How would you rate your soreness? So we're talking about that hamstring or just general soreness. They might be at a 1, might be a little bit sore today. And then how is your fatigue? So how are you feeling? Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling really good? And so it's important to make sure that you look at the scales and what they are saying as well. So this person's feeling pretty good, so their fatigue is low. And then your stress. Is your stress low or is your stress high? I'm in the gym, I'm having a great time, my stress is low. Okay, so your combined total is 16, and then it's really important that we hit save here. So we press save, we get the big tick, we get out of there, and now daily wellness is done. So the only thing we haven't done there so far is our glute hammy bridge pulse. All right. So now that's how we work through our program, and that's what we see every sort of day that the program's scheduled. The other options we have in here, we look down the bottom here, you'll see messaging. So that gives you a chance to talk backwards and forwards to your coach, or you might have a different coach that actually has access to your program in Teambuildr. So if we click on messaging, and you can see there, Chloe and Scott have a message. It allows me some options and our other coaches to send messages to our athletes. If we look at their program and go, okay, you did really well on your deadlifts or something in particular, so that's what this message says. So I've sent Chloe a message to say, great job on your deadlifts and your Nordics yesterday, CJ. And then she sees that message and she can reply to me, but it also lets her know that I'm actually paying attention to her program. I'm keeping an eye on her progress, which we monitor these programs all throughout the week. So if we go back out of there, there's the message. And then we can click back into the workout and look at those things. If you're a part of a team that we look after, you can press in the team feed and you'll actually see bits and pieces around your team of what people have been doing. But if you're just an individual athlete, then you won't have access to those things as well. Now, over here, you'll see the More button. And what you'll see in here is, this is where you can change your passwords and all different things like that. You can put a photo of yourself up there if you want to. But what you will also see, probably the three most important things, is your maxes and your personal records. So if you get a personal record in a hang clean, and then the next week you beat it, it'll show up in there. So you click in there and it'll show you. Okay. The journal, if we click into journal, again, you see here all those notes that you put in throughout the exercises are just here. So this person Chloe put today I used the red band instead of the yellow, which is what we put in that note. Her left calf was sore, so she opted not to push. And then there was another one there about the single leg square hops, but which is a different exercise. But anything any notes and things like that you put in, or you can actually go in after your session and write a little journal if there's something you want to write, just to keep track of it yourself. Okay, if we go back to more, what you'll see in here is documents and links. If there's important documents or links that we want to give you access to, you can go in here. You can see we've got Camp Grammar. We work with a few different sports. What you would do, now this person doesn't have access to any of this because they don't need any of these links, but if you need access to a particular link or a document that I've provided for you, we can just click on one of these and it'll take you straight to it, and you'll be able to open it up as a PDF on your device. So that might be a running session. It might be access to some things like some dietary advice and things like that you might have been given. There could be any number of things that we can put on there for you, but that's where you would access any of those documents and links. So then if we go back to our workout, we can see as we scroll along, if we go back to here, so we can see there, that session on that orange now has now turned to, it was now turned from red to orange. Now if I go back in there, if we finish this glute hemipulse bridge, if we click that and we save it, like we've done it, save. And then if we go back out of there, so we can see that it's all finished. And then if we go back to our calendar, we can see that that's gone green because we've completed all of our exercises. Okay. So that's basically the crux of how we navigate through Teambuildr. All of this information comes back to the coaches, and we monitor these programs regularly, and we're always in touch with you around the types of exercises that you're doing. If you have any questions or any issues around any of this sort of stuff, please feel free to get in touch. And yeah, hopefully you found this useful and it helps you along with being able to utilize the program a little bit more effectively. Thanks for your time.